zips it up, puts the buckles in, and then he's like, okay, I need this. I need this. I need Did you see me drool on myself?
Yeah.
Dude, that was nasty. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Blockbuster, where three dudes talk about movies that we like and sometimes don't like. My name is Ben, and I'm one of your hosts. Welcome.
Hello. My name is Lucas, and I am another one of your hosts. Welcome.
Hello and welcome. I am one of your other hosts. Welcome. My name is Mitch. Welcome.
It's been a while. Sorry, life. Mitch is in school. He's studying to be smarter. So if you were disappointed that we didn't release a video in the past few days, yeah, go fuck yourself. Get out of our fucking office. But you joined us at the beginning of a new epoch. This batch's epoch, this batch of movies is documentaries. We all chose documentaries. And we're starting with my choice, which is Where Dreams Go to Die. It's on YouTube for free. You can go watch it right now. I think it's only like an hour and 16 minutes. It's well worth your time, in my opinion. My hosts might disagree. Who knows? Stay tuned. Where Dreams Go to Die was directed by Ethan Newberry. It's a documentary about a ultra marathon runner named Gary Robbins from Canada who attempts to complete the Barkley Marathons, which is a mysterious foot race designed and ran by a complete psychopath that is considered among many to be one of the, if not the hardest ultra marathons to exist. To our fun subtitles. I'm going to be honest, my subtitle kind of sucks. I'm not very proud of mine.
I'm proud of mine.
All right, you go first.
Where Dreams Go to Die, proving that a hamburger and ketchup equals the peak human physique.
There is a cameo appearance from hamburger and ketchup in this movie.
And bacon.
And bacon. And gnocchi. All sorts of goodness. If you like food. It's basically a cooking show.
Yeah.
All right, Mitch.
Where Dreams Go to Die. Sleep-deprived ginger man is mean to his wife.
Where Dreams Go to Die. Running sucks. It does suck. Running sucks.
I wouldn't even say what they're doing is running at a certain level. It's just suffering. Like it's like they like click the dial past running and just straight to the suffering mode.
Ultra marathons are horrifying. And the only people that do them are masochists who, surprisingly, they have a lot of PhDs. A lot of fucking people with PhDs do ultra marathons. I don't know why.
Because a PhD is an ultramarathon in and of itself.
I think it's they're like addicted to achievement.
Yeah, maybe.
They're addicted to hard things.
They put the dick in addicted. First impressions. I spilled my beans.
I liked it. I'd seen it before.
Wait, really?
I was on like...
Oh,
yeah. Y'all talked about it.
I was on a bit of...
Y'all talked about it in front of me.
Oh. I'm sorry. The past like 4 months, I haven't been registering memories. It's been bad.
I was on a Barkley's Marathons like exploration rabbit hole, kind of when I was in the middle of training for a half marathon, and there's just something like very satisfying about seeing someone do something way crazier and like more. It motivates you to go do your little 5Ks a couple times a week to train, you know? You're like, this motherfucker suffered for 60 hours. I can run for a couple hours.
Because they're also human.
Yeah, because they're also just people. They're built different, but they are people. Yeah, I liked it. I think there's elements of like the filmmaking that are a bit amateurish, but also that I think there's some consequences of the subject matter that limit it to not being like a fantastic documentary, but it's a good time.
Yeah, that's interesting. That when we get into it, I have a lot of notes about those like limitations that I think are really interesting. So I'm glad you brought that up, Daddy. Lucas, what did you think, bud?
So I am somebody who hates running, like hates running. And the running that I can stand is like on a treadmill, not outside in nature. I don't know why. It just like it breaks my motivation to run in nature, but like regardless if there's people around. So for like the first, third of the movie, I was not vibing with it, and I was like, I'm doing this for my friends. I'm doing it for my friends. But I ended up getting really interested in it. It was really enjoyable to watch. Definitely an amateur, like, filmmaking, but it was really cool to see, like, them learn and grow throughout the movie. Like, initially, they're not allowed to go with the runners on their loops, so we only see like them when they get back to camp. But then later on, in one of the training sessions, I believe, he's wearing a GoPro, and I thought that was like cool. Like, hey, they're figuring out a way to get some like running footage in this running documentary. But very interesting, very cool to see someone so determined, but also I don't know. It was like a dual-edged sword where it's like this is partially motivating and partially like a cautionary tale, and I love it.
I love this movie to death. I love it a shitload. It's another one of my cozy movies. I could basically watch it whenever. I can't believe that it's free and available for everyone on YouTube. Go watch it. I'm not getting paid to say that. I think it's a fantastic movie, and you should watch it. It's fantastic. The creators should be immensely proud of themselves. I love how focused it is. The story of the Barkley Marathons is insane and goes in a lot of different directions, but getting to witness it through the perspective of one guy turns up the dial on all the emotional aspects. It's an incredible story. It's absolutely fascinating. And I totally agree with all the things that you guys said, but I have a lot of thoughts about them, which is why I chose the movie, because I wanted to talk about them. So, yeah. Should we get into it, boys? Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Please respond. Okay, cool. All right, so we start with a preppy animated tutorial segment stylized like a 50s cartoon advertisement that gets you up to speed on what the Barkley Marathon is. So let me get you up to speed on what the Barkley Marathons is. I'll just kind of recap it. It's an ultra marathon that consists of 5 loops, which are each around 20 to 30 miles. So it averages around 100 miles, but no one knows exactly because the course changes every year based entirely on how the race director is feeling. It includes over 60,000 feet of elevation gain on unmarked trails. To put that in perspective, that's more elevation gain than climbing and descending Mount Everest twice. Books are hidden randomly along the course, and runners are to find each one of them on each lap, tear out the page number that matches their bib number, and return all of them to the race director to prove that they ran the course. The race has a rolling start, which means the race director can decide any time between midnight and 12 noon the next day when the race starts, which he announces via the blowing of a conch shell. Is it conch or conch?
Conch.
Conch? Yeah. Conch.
Fine.
No GPS or watches are permitted. It's held in Frozen Head State Park, Tennessee during the spring, which means you'll be running through briars with thorns the size of pencils and weather that can range anywhere from boiling hot to rainy fog so thick you can't even see your own feet, let alone the now lethally slippery rocks. There is no reward for victory other than glory, and you only have 60 hours to complete the entire thing. As of September 2025, only 20 runners have ever completed the Barkley Marathons since it morphed into its current version in 1995. It is considered by some to be the most difficult ultramarathon that exists. Some other historical tidbits about the Barkley Marathons that the film doesn't cover here or doesn't cover at all that I found. The race director's name is Lazarus Lake. That comes up later. In 1977, James Earl Ray, the man who assassinated Martin Luther King Jr., escaped from a nearby prison. He only made it 8 miles in 54 hours before being caught, and Laz, the guy who made the race, joked that he could have done 100 miles in that time, and that joke became an idea, and that idea became the Barkley Marathons. Part of the race actually goes through that prison that he escaped from. I don't know if you guys have ever been to Backwoods, Tennessee. I haven't, but it is a fucking nightmare. In the spring, running around that, it's like, yeah, it's insane. Anyway, that's the Barkley Marathons. The intro, it does its job. It's sort of like what you would expect. The creators needed to explain this race to you, so they just explain the race to you,
Do you know what it reminds me of in kind of a funny way?
What?
Is the opening to like the Smash documentary.
Yeah.
Where it's like Masahiro Sakurai made Super Smash Brothers Melee for the Nintendo GameCube, and everything was hunky-dory.
I mean, it's cute. It's got that like 1940s, 50s like American animation style, like and talk like, "Hey, kid." I love the kid who's crying while he's explaining how torturous this like trek is, and I'm like, yeah, that's me. That sounds horrible. It sounds like running is torture on its own, and it's like, how can we make this even more torturous?
That's the thing about this documentary is that the story of the Barkley Marathons, just telling people about it is really interesting because it's just such a good engine for suffering. But there's other documentaries that already do that. So, and this documentary isn't that. It just has to give you enough context so that you can understand Gary Robbins' story. So, in a way, it can seem like they're not doing enough. One of my criticisms early on when I watched this movie was, I wish they had sunk their teeth more into the context of the Barkleys early on, especially in this scene. But as I watched the movie more and more times, I was like, you know what? They give you all you need to know to understand like Gary's story, and they give you a bunch of the context while they tell you Gary's story. So I think it's perfectly, serviceable. It's not my favorite part of the movie, but yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like you said, like it's not about the Barkleys. There's so many resources and so much has been written or talked about when it comes to this race in particular that, I don't know. It's not like you have to know what the Barkleys is going into the film, but it's not the objective of the film is not to tell the story of the Barkleys. It's to tell Gary's story,
Right.
which is depressing.
Oh, yeah.
But
Genuinely curious. Before watching this the first time for both of you, did you guys know about the Barkley Marathon?
Nope. Not at all.
I did.
This was the first intro to the Barkley Marathons I ever had.
Same. And you did, Mitch? How did you know about it?
I actually, one of the finishers, he did like a vlog kind of thing on YouTube, and just the kind of running and outdoorsy content that I cultivate through the algorithms, just kind of stumbled upon this like video, and it was like, Campbell vlog the Barkleys or whatever. Ended up watching it and was just engrossed in this idea of the Barkleys and this one guy's
Was it Jordan
journey.
Campbell?
In the same,
Oh.
yeah. It was his quest for his first Barkleys,
I love Jordan Campbell. He's awesome.
which and I want to read the book that he mentioned. He talks about it a lot in the video. It's called The Finishers, and it's all like anecdotes from at the time the like 12 or 13 that had finished the race.
We start with a montage of Laz walking around the course with a group of people, placing the books that are to be found by the runners, and we're introduced to two things. One, the color palette, which is I make mention of because it's cool, and I'm interested to know if it was deliberate, because I find it hard to believe that it was deliberate, considering how low budget the documentary is, and the fact that it's a documentary. The color palette includes a shitload of light blue, varying shades of orange as an accent color, and then like deep black, wet rock slate sort of, and white, obviously. And then we're also introduced to the little musical sting, which is like violins, and they sound, hopeful, which you will find is a MacGuffin because there is no hope here. This is where dreams go to die. Oh, he said the thing. Oh. If you don't like it, it's going to get annoying. Laz looks like Deep South Santa Claus. And the narrator...
Moonshine Santa Claus.
The filmmaker narrates part of the experience to give you like little explanations of things. Gary Robbins, our protagonist, is seen doing camp things, collecting firewood, setting up a tent, that sort of stuff. He's mentioned in interviews that the big reason he got into ultramarathons is because he loves being outside and doing outdoor activities. So here he is being outside. The way I would describe Gary Robbins is jolly. He's a chill Vancouverite dude who appears to get along really well with people. He has a big bushy beard that looks a bit too old for his young face, but it can't hide his relentless smile. You'll notice immediately that he's positive as a principal, he's warm, and he's frighteningly well-adjusted. You can tell he's emotionally prepared for this. He sort of gives you like a summary at the beginning, and he's like, yeah, I did all this shit, I've been waiting for years to apply. I'm really excited to be out here. It's a very nice place, and he's just super chill and cool. He gives a summary of how he understands the Barkley Marathons, making it clear that he's done his homework, which you could tell that he's mentally prepared for this. And then a smorgasbord of Gary's running accomplishments scroll by on screen, including first and second place finishes for some of the most difficult races in the world. Homeboy is really good at running. You can tell he's physically prepared for this. He is like, if you imagine, like, if let's say you're not really experienced with ultramarathons, like I wasn't when I first saw this movie, you try to imagine someone in your head who could finish an ultramarathon. You might imagine someone like Gary Robbins. He's just got it all together. It seems like he does this in his sleep, which is what makes the rest of the movie so interesting. His explicit goal is to finish the race. Nothing less than a complete finish will be considered a success, in his own words. Laz blows the conch shell at 9:42 a.m., indicating the race will start in 1 hour.
That's crazy. I'm sorry. A race where the start time isn't like definite, where it's like, yeah, it'll happen from this time to this time. Like, good luck. That's fucking psychotic.
I know, right? There's like the Barkley Marathons is designed to make your life hell, and this is one of the many things that they do to make your life hell. 9:42 a.m. is actually pretty reasonable by Barkley standards. The race starts in an hour. So the race starts at 10:42. As the runners prepare, you're given a visual taste of the prep work that went into this. Gary has a tent the size of a New York apartment. He's got a backpack with two quick access drink holders for a couple drinks, filled to the brim with supplies, hiking poles, and non-chafing clothing covering every part of his ginger body. He's a self-described ginger runner. And the extent of this preparation will become clear later. He's the ginger runner. That's what he is.
He also wants you to lube your balls.
That's true, yes. When you run, there's two things you need to do that they don't tell you. Lube your junk, and tape your nips. It's important.
I've never run 100 miles, but I've never felt the need to do that, either of those two things. But I do know that the nipple thing is like a big thing.
Honestly, Mitch, you got to lube your balls and come back and tell us how the running was.
Like, I felt so fast.
Nothing could stop me.
I understand the premise, although my wife was sitting next to me while we were watching it, and she was like, why did he say to do that? And I was trying to explain the thermodynamics of running with testicles.
It's important to understand. There's a substance you can get for long bike rides called butt butter. I'm not kidding. Butt butter. It's a fucking legendary substance because you can get saddle sores really easy being in the saddle for a long amount of time. Slap some butt butter all over your groin. It's fantastic. Anyway, Laz starts the race by lighting a cigarette. There isn't a starting pistol. He lights a cigarette. We are now introduced to...
Which is a vibe. It's a vibe for sure.
He used to be an ultra-marathon runner, too.
Yeah. I guess when you're can't run anymore, you're just like, fuck it.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, given the era, he probably smoked cigarettes when he was a runner, too.
And he probably completed the Barkleys while smoking.
While chain smoking.
Yeah.
It definitely... what I like about this race and in general is it and what that illustrates, though, is the sort of anti-yuppification of running. running is seen as this very like sleek, like doctor sport that people do or whatever, people who run competitively or run marathons. And, you know, you have all your nylon and everything and your nutrition plans and all this stuff. And then the contrast to that is running through rural Tennessee, smoking a cigarette, donating license plates, and picking up books, pages out of books that are actively making fun of you is like, you know.
It's counterculture.
That's wild. I like when they, you know, first run and, you know, everybody's going. I started to think, like, is this really a race or, like, is this really a marathon? I know people at the beginning don't always, like, full force, you know, bolt, like, run. But it seemed like most people, you know, had their walking sticks and they were kind of, like, trekking along. It almost seemed like a hike challenge, but you have to be speedy because of the time limit. So it's like somewhere in between a run and a hike and a marathon and a fucking escape room with the books. Like,
there's another YouTube video called How to Run 100 Miles where these two dudes who have no experience running an ultra marathon enter one and like go through the whole process of like learning stuff, and they come to a lot of the same conclusions. It's interesting because it's similar to like F1 versus Le Mans endurance race, you know? It's
You
like,
lost
yeah, you want to finish first, but also you want to finish. Like, finishing is the most important part. And in an ultra marathon, oftentimes you won't be running. Like, you want to run to, like, save time, but you don't want to run because it'll blow out your knee. It'll soak up all your nutrition. So you need to, like, think ahead and plan in the long term. It's not so much a spectator sport because you'll get bored, but, like, being in it, your brain is going the entire time, and it's slowly being starved of resources and sleep. And it's so interesting.
I've been playing Death Stranding, and it got me in the mood for this. I was like, yeah, gotta plan my route, gotta make sure I run in certain places and conserve energy in others.
That's fucking awesome.
If you do the math, like to complete the race, you have to be traveling at an average of 1.6 miles per hour. And like breaking that down in like hiking slash like as like a backpacker or a hiker, the slowest hiker you've ever seen walks at like a mile an hour. So the actual speed threshold, but you have to think about all that elevation gain and the distance at which this pace is being stretched out. And then you're not including like between loops, which is something we haven't even gotten into, like all the resupplies, like route finding, all these things. So they do have to run. It's just like,
yeah, it's 1.2 miles an hour average if you know exactly where to go. If the weather's like, imagine a spherical, you know, marathon, a perfectly spherical marathon.
yeah.
It's like this shit is the perfect blend of intuition and like raw data crunching.
Also, sorry, before we continue, I think it's an important note that with the whole conch thing about when it blows, Gary was trying to, you know, get some sleep. He went to bed at what we consider a reasonable time, but the anxiety and anticipation of when the hell is this thing gonna blow, he didn't really get a good night's sleep before the Barkley Marathon. And so, like, to start off on that footing is tough. And, like, that is what the conch is designed to do, like, to just amp up that, like, anticipation and that anxiety and just, like, put you in a state of fight or flight.
Yes, just twist your brain like you're wringing out a cloth.
Yeah.
This is why people don't do this alone. When you do an ultra marathon, you have a team with you. And at this point in the film, we're introduced to Gary's team, the people he's brought with him to help him. Gary's team consists of his absolute MVP of a wife, Linda, his friends Sean and Kimberly, and his baby son, Reed, who admittedly doesn't really do much since he's just a dumb little baby.
Moral support, that's huge. You don't even understand that.
He's a stupid little baby. He doesn't do anything. The team goes out to one part of the course they're allowed to visit and see Gary leading the ultramarathon with his new friend, Jared Campbell, who we were talking about earlier. Another psychotically good runner who's finished the Barkley twice already. They're working together, which is vital because running the Barkley alone is essentially impossible. That's essentially all the exposition done and dusted. There's going to be like little tidbits later on, but for the most part, you're mostly up to speed about what you need to know. We transitioned to earlier with Gary in the camp explaining to his team how he wants things done in between lamps. In between lamps, he says. This is super important because for the vast majority of the rest of the movie, the only times we'll see Gary are when he comes back to camp between laps. This dramatic framework, which is a consequence of the subject matter, has its pros and cons. The biggest con is the fact that it can start to feel repetitive. Do you guys agree?
I agree, but also I think this is when I started to get a little more hooked into it because, and I could see maybe why you enjoyed it, because to me it was like, oh, this is like a human F1 pit crew. Like he comes in, he's like,
yeah,
he doesn't touch his. He doesn't touch his bag. Someone else is going to restock him with like all the fuel he needs. Someone's going to wrap his foot. Like he's just there to eat the food that was pre-cooked for him so that it was ready right when he got into camp. Like he's there to nap, to rest, to do everything he can to refill calories and get ready to go on the next loop. So I was like, oh, this is interesting. Like I understand the purpose behind the team.
Yeah, I don't know. It's funny because you are put into this situation, like this camp, and it's very like not hectic, but there's a lot of adrenaline in these pit stops, so to speak. It's like, jam the banana in my mouth, hand me the goo. Like, I want those shoes, not that shoe. Like, give me fill my bag with hummus. Like, whatever it is, it's like, it feels very frantic because they know they're fighting the clock the whole time. It's cool. I feel bad for. I would forgive someone for being mean to me as their pit crew, but it would also be hard to just like have someone who's like just ran 30 miles like roll up and start barking orders at you.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. So this is what I wrote down as the pros, in contrast to the cons, as they often are. The pros of this dramatic framework, the fact that you only ever interact with Gary when he comes back to the camp, is that you never know what to expect when Gary finishes a lap, and when he returns, you get to infer a ton of information about the race and about Gary's mental state based entirely on the brief interactions that he has with his wife and friends at camp. One thing you'll see online, and one thing Mitch and Lucas have already mentioned, is that he can be mean when he comes back to camp. But this first time when he comes back to camp, he is not mean at all. He is on it. Everyone's on it. They do a fucking great job. They nail it. I actually wrote down a summary of what needs to happen. Y'all beat me to it, but I'll do it anyway. Here's how Gary's returns to camp should go. Broken gear gets repaired or replaced. Bags get filled with snacks. One bladder gets filled with water. The other gets filled with rice milk. Gary's bladder gets filled with the latter. Blisters get popped. Ointment gets applied to the gashes the thorns have left in his legs. Banana gets shoved in his mouth. Other food is consumed at Gary's discretion, which includes a burger soaked in ketchup or gnocchi soaked in ketchup. Clothes changed if needed, and all this happens under 10 minutes, at which point Gary runs to the start line and begins his next 20 to 30 mile loop. Buckets with all the relevant gear are labeled and readily available to make the process as smooth as possible. If you've ever watched an F1 pit stop, it's like that, but for a human being.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say with, like, Gary being mean, quote unquote, like, I think, if you're signing up to be part of his pit crew, you understand what it is, where you're kind of waiting for, 6 to 9 hours in between loops, and then you're just like, now it's go time, and then, you have a really intense go time, but then you get, like, a 9-hour break. But, like, it's interesting to see him because you only see essentially his pure determination and you don't see like the emotion on that. He is kind of mean to his wife, but I think she's like, any supportive partners, like, this is a goal that you're wanting to do, like, I'm gonna be there to support you, whatever that means. And it is interesting that we don't go with him on the loop, we are like taking the perspective of the pit crew. So yeah, when he comes in, you get to see his mental state. You get to see how his morale and get to infer, oh, that was a good loop, or oh, that was a rough one. Let's see what happens with the next one, which is interesting stakes and yeah.
It's interesting to watch because like it's interesting to watch him deteriorate. Because as he comes in for more and more loops, he's got less energy, he's more exhausted, he's out of it, and you watch it happen. And this first stop, he's cracking jokes, he's getting along with everyone, he's totally focused and can communicate exactly what he needs when he needs it. He's not mean, he's just efficient. Everyone's efficient, and that's the standard. It's perfect for the first stop. It shows you exactly what it should look like. Everyone's lickety split. Gary's in high spirits. If you're rooting for Gary, this is what you're hoping for.
It's also strange. Sorry. It's also strange just because like camp is not only filled with like you and your pit crew, it's filled with everybody else's pit crew, but it's also filled with a bunch of like spectators who are, like have these massive ass cameras, and like as you're just like coming in trying to like, you know, get your pit stop, people like trying to take all these pictures of you. Like it's got to be an intense thing to experience.
This is one problem I have with the film, which isn't the filmmaker's fault at all. It's the consequence of the subject matter, is that it's the kind of race that they aren't allowed to be on the course at all, which I think you lose a bit of the experience of Gary. Like, it's almost a documentary of the camp experience at the Barkleys rather than Gary's experience. Nothing to be done about it. Like, Laz doesn't let people on the course. Like, that is what it is.
The thing is, there's a couple things. I don't think that's necessarily like a complete detriment to the movie. Like you said, I think it's a consequence of the movie, and it steeps it in mystery, right? It's like the Barkley is such a mysterious thing for people who haven't run it, and the movie takes a deliberate effort. It knows that, and so it's edited the way that it is. The whole first part of the exposition of the movie, which is super efficient, they spend very little time on exposition, only the time that they need. Most of it is establishing Gary's character, because they know that you're not going to see him until he comes back to camp, and so they establish a version of him that is normal. They give you Gary as a control group, so that when he comes back to camp after he's entered this black box, which is the Barkley, you can see how he's changed, and you as the audience are clued into. Like I think the documentary, if they did go out on the track, would be good, but it would be less unique.
I get that.
Other runners slowly spill in, even as night falls. Some start their second loop, but others choose to accept failure. For those who give up before finishing, Laz's partner plays taps on a bugle. For those of you who don't know what taps is, it's
Excellent.
Thank you. At 4:30 a.m., Gary and Jared return from their second loop. They have been running essentially nonstop for 20 hours.
Horrible. Horrible.
And they're not even fucking halfway done. In all fairness, you would not be able to tell. Gary seems to be as well as when he started, at least while he speaks to Laz about his pages. Once he gets to camp, it's kind of a different story. The filmmakers make a great decision to edit in a clip of a very happy, very smiley Gary telling his lovely wife and amazing friends before the race starts that the very first thing they need to do when he gets back to camp is jam a banana in his mouth. That's what he says. It's a quote. The first thing that you got to do when I get back to camp, jam a banana in my mouth. They all chuckle before we cut back to the brutal lighting of the night, and one member of his team is holding a banana outstretched in front of his face. This carries on between shots as an exasperated Gary verbally refuses to touch the banana. The dramatic energy of the scene revolves around this banana. It's fucking awesome. They're just holding it in front of him while he fucking freaks out, and he's like, no, I'm not going to touch the goddamn banana. The change in Gary's demeanor is jarring. He's less patient and he's more demanding. He cusses. The camera barely moves, mostly pinned to a tripod, which implies that the filmmaker is either helping out or doesn't want to get in his way. The way the scene revolves dramatically around the symbolism of a banana is fan-fucking-tastic. We're also given what is, to me, the coolest thing that this film has to offer, which is what we were talking about before, watching people degrade.
As one would.
Right, exactly. And the thing about Gary Robbins is that he has a bigger spectrum than the average person for that, right? His ceiling for what threshold of suffering mentally, physically, and spiritually, emotionally he's willing to endure is higher than most people's. And the Barkley Marathons will sap that more than any other event. So the pairing of Gary Robbins as protagonist and the Barkley Marathons as antagonist is, the next day, a group of runners returned 32 hours after the start of the race. Loop 1's cutoff is 20 hours, so they all failed. 31 hours into the race, Gary and Jared finished their third lap. This was another thing that blew my mind as someone who knew jack shit about ultramarathons the first time I watched this. They don't sleep. Or more accurately, they barely sleep. Jared and Gary, who have been up for longer than 30 hours at this point, running nonstop for almost that entire time, are now going to take 90 minutes to nap.
Like, what the hell are you doing? I'm sorry. Like, even the running on its own is crazy, but on that, like, little sleep, that's a death wish.
That is fucking insane.
It is.
And they don't even sleep for the entire 90 minutes, because the 90 minutes includes the pit stop and getting like back to the gate and starting again. Oh, it's fucking insane. In fairness, Gary seems a little better emotionally this time, but that's probably just because he's properly zooted and excited to get even a modicum of sleep. Gary exits the tent after his little power nap, looking like a fucking zombie. His voice is shaky, he's covered in blood and scrapes, and they still let him hold his baby child, who he tosses up and down in the air. Personally, I don't think that was a good idea, but whatever.
He was zooting that baby up. He was like tossing it. And I don't know if it was this scene or an earlier scene, but he like puts his face right up in the baby's face and is like, hi. And I think one of the pit stop members was like, don't scare him.
It is funny to like backseat, like during these pit stops, like backseat ultra marathon when like you ain't done shit. But I'm like, man, I don't know if I would sleep. Like, because I feel like I would lose more than gain from that sleep. My motivation would sap. I'd be like, that sleeping bag would be feeling too goddamn good. Be like, fuck this race. I'm staying here.
I get that. And like, you don't even get into REM sleep, or maybe you barely get into it. And then when you wake up, you feel even more tired. So like, I am in the same boat as you as a non-runner, as a backseat ultra marathoner.
Yeah, I don't know. Take the load off. You've been on your fucking feet for 30 hours straight. Get horizontal. Gary and Jared meet at the gate and take off together. Jared looks fucking fine. He's fine. He's a fucking beast. He's okay. He's doing okay. Yes.
Yeah, there's definitely some contrast. Yeah, no, I agree, because it will come up later. We'll get to it, that they show John Kelly arriving from his like.
Oh, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Oh yeah,
I
can't wait to talk about that.
Okay, out of the 40 people who started the race, only 3 people started their penultimate fourth loop: Gary, Jared, and local runner John Kelly. John Kelly is going to play a phenomenal dramatic role in all this, but we'll get to that. One more rule about the Barkley: if more than one runner starts their 5th and final loop, they're to head in opposite directions, meaning your exhausted, sleep-deprived ass is now completely alone for the next 20 to 30 miles.
That's crazy and almost like dangerous to do that. At least if you had a running buddy, you could just be like, yo, this guy's passed out and he's about to die. Like, boot up the sat phone. But instead, they just go off into the wilderness and their family's just like, I hope we see him. Like, let's find out.
Gary,
well, there's stories of runners getting lost in the Barkleys at night and ending up in like the next town over. Like,
jeez.
Like crazy shit like that.
Yeah, no. Gary and Jared arrive at the same time. Gary's locked in. Every sentence he says begins with, I need. it's just a really well-made. So much of this is accidental. It's just how it happened, and yet it works super well. There's like this sweeping shot as Gary sort of locks in, and the camera and him meet at the same level as he exasperately gets his backpack on, zips it up, puts the buckles in, and then he's like, okay, I need this. I need this. I need this. Did you see me drool on myself?
Yeah. Dude, that was nasty.
I do that a lot these days. I don't know why that's happening, but Gary and Jared arrive at the gate at the same time. Gary's locked in. They arrive from their fourth loop at the same time. Gary gets all his shit together. Pit stop goes well. He mentions in passing that he's been hallucinating for hours.
Which is crazy.
His ludicrously supportive wife gets the final word as she gears him up. She says, the whole camp is pulling for you. The whole world is pulling for you. Just think about me and Reed and Roxy, and then hands him his watch. I don't know who Roxy is. Don't know if I misheard that. But that's very sweet. As Gary walks to the gate, he runs into Jared, and you can
It's his mistress.
Oh, God. Oh, my God.
I was joking. It's his mistress.
Everyone's rooting for you.
As Gary walks to the gate, he runs into Jared, and you could be forgiven for thinking he's drunk. He throws his arm around his friend and makes a sloppy joke. Homeboy is cooked. You could tell Homeboy is cooked. Jared and Gary run off, and shortly after, John Kelly, the only other runner to finish their fourth loop, arrives back at camp. If you thought Gary was cooked, just hold your horses, bucko. John flops across the finish line, his feet barely keeping him up. He's not even trying to fucking use his hiking poles, which dangle from his limp wrists. As the crowd applauds his arrival, he is stone-faced, rarely looking anywhere but the ground. At the gate, it becomes clear that his brain is fried, probably filled to bursting with hallucinations, and the rest of the camp's mood shifts to worry. They plop him in a chair, give him some food and electrolytes, try to talk to him, but he just stares at them like he doesn't recognize them because he probably doesn't. By the power of Grayskull, Homeboy somehow manages to stand and begin his fifth loop, but shortly after wandering out of camp, he collapses into the bushes and falls asleep.
Which, like, predictable. Like, you knew, like, why would his team even, like, I was like, bruh, you gotta, like, call it at that. Like, they were helping him to his feet, like, steering him from, like, falling down. Like, that guy is not about to go run 26 to 30 miles.
It was like one of those newborn horses that's like learning how to walk and stand up and just like stumbling everywhere. It was not good.
Well, when he was coming back with his poles, like just hanging by his side, it reminded me of like a toddler like dragging their toy behind them. just like, Mom,
I pooped my pants.
I pooped my pants. Yeah, exactly.
John Kelly, if you're watching this, you're amazing. You're not a toddler who pooped their pants. You're not a poopy pants. But yeah, the fact that your team let you out of the fucking chair even is ludicrous. The narrator assures us he will not be the Barkley's final victim. Dun dun dun. Gary's team are given special permission to visit one part of the course where Jared and Gary will meet during their loops. Jared arrives first, chugging along like the steam locomotive of a person he is, but Gary is nowhere to be seen. Eventually, he does arrive, driving a motherfucking minivan. It's all a conspiracy. The runners don't actually do the Barkley, they just drive it.
I remember you guys telling me specifically about this part. Just like, Tucker, it's all good. Sorry. I remember you guys telling me specifically about this part where, like, you're just waiting for this runner, and he pulls up in a minivan.
Gary admits, from behind the wheel of the car that he's currently driving, that he's been up for 96 hours straight. He goes on to...
It's probably towards the end of what's legally allowed.
Girl, you're well past that. You're well past that. You should not be driving a car.
Fucking dangerous. He goes on to explain what happened, and it's about as comprehensible as you'd expect from a person who just spent the last 96 hours running through a fucking forest. From what I can gather, he botched the navigation on his fifth loop. He couldn't find the pages in time, and he used the car to get to his family and let them know. Back in camp, Jared finishes strong because he's unstoppable, and we get a surreal moment that almost looks staged. Again, the creators just stumble accidentally into amazing cinematic moments. It's a surreal moment where Jared is sat in a camp chair, all lights from all cameras and phones, and it's that night. They're all pointing at him, illuminating him, while he regales the village with his tale of struggle and victory. And in the background, Gary, disheveled, no doubt happy for his friend, watches hunched from the crowd, probably wishing that it was him. It's just another really cool moment. You could, yeah, oof is right, yeah.
And Jared, he looks like pretty okay.
Yeah.
Consider it. Like,
Yeah.
if you contrast that with how, like, John Kelly returned to camp on his fourth loop with Jared sitting in the chair, it's like, damn, bro, you weren't even in the same race. Like,
We cut to Vancouver. Gary admits to struggling after the race. Gary's wife, Linda, reveals herself to be the most supportive person on the planet. The second Gary tells her that he wants to go back, she's like, yep, we're going. Homeboy needs to do this, and I know he can do it, so we're doing it.
That's amazing. Like, as a partner, just like, because you are being like barked at in terms of like having orders told to you, and like, you haven't seen your partner in a while, and they're just like, I need this, I need that, I'm gonna sleep. And I bet they have to. He's training for a majority of the year. I bet that she, they have to have time off to be able to do this. Like, it's a lot for a partner to be like, yeah, let's do this together. But it's cool and supportive to see your partner achieve their goals.
I'm pretty sure Linda's also a ultramarathon runner, so I'm sure she can relate.
Oh, cool. Didn't know that.
It's training time, baby. Gary trains by spending the summer running just under 1,000 miles total, accumulating over 410,000 feet of vertical gain in the process. At a certain point, the numbers just they don't hit the same. It's like, yeah, big number. I get it. It's not done in
convert it to
montage.
scientific notation.
Just
like,
4
We're
times
dealing
10
with big
to the
numbers.
E or whatever the fuck.
yeah.
It's not done in montage, this training sequence. Instead, we're just shown the final big workout Gary does, which is running repeats up a bit of trail until he gains 20,000 feet of elevation. This was probably done due to the limitations for the filmmaker. Getting footage for a montage would still leave you with the footage you would need to make this sequence, and you'd also have a shitload of extra footage to do anything you want with. Instead, they just filmed this bit, probably because the logistics of coordinating all that filming was too much for a guy prepping for the hardest ultramarathon on Earth, and his friend who he allowed to make a documentary about him, which is not the priority. Still, as a consequence, we get this sequence, which I think works perfectly. We spend the entire time with Gary, and we get to see what he's like out on the trail alone, which is to say positive, upbeat, and focused. Given how resilient Gary is, it only makes the Barkley seem that much more devious as a result.
I love that. I think it was good that they had the little GoPro solo moment so that we could see Gary in his element. I am curious if that's also a rule of the Barkley where he can't have a GoPro.
It is.
Okay, yeah. So it was nice to be able to see that given the limitations of documenting this race.
It's also a cool sequence because Gary runs into issues, the same ones you would imagine he'd run into in the Barkley, and they're random and weird. Like at one point, he wears spikes on his shoes to like grip the snow better, and as he's descending, the spikes catch a stump and he does a header and almost fucking dies. I mean, you hit your head hard enough, he could have fucking died, and he just gets up and he's like, here's where my spikes were. Here's where I started doing a header, but no harm, no foul. And then he just keeps going. That's what you fucking do. It's incredible.
Yeah, he was in good spirits throughout the training. And like you could tell he was like, I'm ready for this. I'm like, it puts you in the mindset of like, oh, he's going to fucking send it, as the kids say.
Yeah. He's going to fucking, only the big dogs eat. Gary reiterates, there is no reward in anything less than 5 laps. And we're back in Tennessee. People prep. John Kelly's back. Him and Gary decide to work together. Friends.
Woo!
Yeah, get yourself some friends. Friends are great. It's so helpful. So useful.
do ultra marathons with them.
No.
Yeah, run
Do
hundreds
the
of
Barkleys
miles
with friends.
through the forest with your friends. Yeah.
No. That's how you
Nothing
lose
but
friends.
rice milk. Laz decides that this year's Barkley is going to start at 1:42 a.m., blowing the conch at midnight 42 and waking everybody's ass up. Also, for the first time in Barkley history, Laz allows runners to use a watch, but only a watch that he provides, which is a cheap gas station watch set to chrono time with a shitty loose strap. Also, it's raining. The watch is so sadistic because you think it's an advantage, but Gary mentions before he even leaves that it's already messing with his head as to what time of day it actually is, since the watch isn't actually set to actual time. And if you pay attention, when he comes in for the pit stop, the next loop, he's not wearing the watch. He took it off.
Oh. He was saying something about the strap, how, like, oh, what a well-constructed strap. This isn't going to scratch me up or chafe me at all.
John and Gary finished their first loop in under 10 hours. Gary isn't zapped, but definitely focused. Few words are said in camp. He eats what he needs, kisses his wife, and bounces. As Gary runs the opposite direction away from the gate back onto the course, he jokes and laughs with passers-by who encourage and applaud him. But once he's all past them, and it's just him and the camera, we get this incredible intimate moment where he says under his breath, "Man, it is fucking hard to leave camp."
It's an interesting pit stop because he's in really good spirits. His wife is even like, yeah, that was great. And it's funny because I think even before this first loop, he's like, she's like, this, like, hopefully this is the last time we have to come here. And, like, I think, she's loving and supportive and is going to do what it takes. But also she's like, I'm done with this shit. I got a child that I need to raise. Like,
I'm sure Gary's thinking the same thing. He's like, I don't want to fucking do this. Why am I here? What the fuck am I doing? They finish their second loop at the 20-hour mark once the sun has gone down. They also decide to sleep for half an hour before the third loop. Again, he's mostly focused, a little more impatient this time, but conks out pretty quickly. His wife whispers that he's snoring really loudly and that it warms her heart. Aww. And it's her job to wake him up in about 3 minutes. Gary emerges from his tent looking fucking miserable. Every time Gary wakes up, he's just in agony. He shakily sips some warm liquid with 2 hands, shivering when it hits his mouth, all while you can hear taps getting played on a bugle in the background. It is a beautiful moment. I love it so much.
It's very Hunger Games, when they fire the cannon to let you know someone else has died.
yeah.
33 hours into the race, Gary and John return, noticeably quieter. In camp, Gary mumbles orders under his breath. It seems like he's frustrated with his team, but it's probably just all the running. 40 racers started this year. Only 2 runners started their 4th loop. Gary and John. Those were the 2 ones that started their 4th loop. Everyone else conked out.
It's crazy how much this weeds people out. Like, I thought maybe, by the 4th loop, people are quitting like in the middle of the 4th loop, but it's like, it's crushing people like right away. And noticeably this year is just like rainy and foggy and gross compared to last year's better conditions.
Yeah. There's pro runners that conk out on the first lap.
They eat and shit marathons for breakfast that get crushed by the first loop of the Barkley.
Crushed between the butt cheeks of the Barkley. Like you're eating the booty like groceries. And they clench a little too hard. Pop your head like a grape. They returned from their 4th loop after midnight, 46 hours after they started. So if you do the math, they have 14 hours left. This is the last pit stop for both of them before they're forced to run out and do the rest of the race alone. Given how much time is left, they're rushing. Gary is frustrated, but isn't capable of communicating what he needs effectively due to a combination of exhaustion and sleep deprivation. There are moments where he forgets what they're talking about in the middle of the fucking conversation. And this guy is expected to run for another 20 to 30 miles. Oh, man. He snaps at his wife while barking orders, and while he does this, the emotions slam into him, and he starts to cry. This is, for me, one of the most important moments of the film. Gary has been this archetype of positivity, fitness, and resolve, and watching him break down in tears while within touching distance of what he wants to achieve is moving. It is noteworthy. He really, truly is running on empty. There's so much character and stakes wrapped up in this moment. It's intense.
And I love what his wife does, because he's like holding it back, but you can tell he is not. He's on the bridge of tears, and she's like, let it out, come on, it'll be good, it'll be cathartic, like, let it out. And he starts crying, and she's like, good, it's okay, like, you're so strong, you're so amazing, like, you've got this. And then she's like, and now throw it away, it never comes back. Like, she is there for him, and that is awesome.
She's, Linda MVP, absolutely awesome. Emotions dealt with, nutrition acquired, and gear saddled. There's only one thing left to do, and that's to get this shit done. Gary accepts his final bib and goes out onto the course in the dark. During the fifth loop, rain and fog roll in. Linda is shook understandably. John Kelly arrives first, wearing a grocery bag he found to protect himself from the rain for some reason. He just finds a fucking...
And someone else's beanie.
Yeah.
He comes back hobo style. Just covered in plastic.
If that man walked into your gas station, you would be a little alarmed. We'll just say that.
The other thing I want to say, before we get to the end, is when they do leave for the last loop, his wife has been like, after every pit stop, she's like, oh, this is good. He's looking good. After this one, she was like, after he's like far out enough that he can't hear her, she was like, well, that was bad. You all saw it. Like, that's not good.
Yeah. I'm nervous. There's rain and fog all night. I don't know what's going to happen.
It's scary.
He's out there alone in the dark. The copperhead with the copperheads. Tennessee's wild, bro. John Kelly's just as zooted as when he started his fourth lap last year, but he's a lot happier, probably because he finished. John asks where Gary is and if he's doing well. No one knows, but they all wait. While the crowd of people wait watching the part of the trail Gary is supposed to come down, someone notices him running in the wrong direction. He slaps the gate and immediately curls up on the ground, squeaking an explanation in between gigantic breaths. It's relatively incoherent, but the gist of it is that he got turned around in the fog and couldn't make it back to the camp the correct direction. But since he had all his pages, he ran back up the path and took a chance by finishing the wrong side of the gate. You're not allowed to finish on the wrong side of the gate in the Barkley, but it wouldn't matter anyway because Gary missed the time cutoff by 6 seconds. Ooh. 60 hours and 6 seconds.
Heartbreaking. And like when he arrives, he is not the man that you have gotten used to. He like falls on the floor and he's like, please, if it doesn't count, I understand, but just I went this way. I can show you on the map. Please.
Laz, let me show you the map. I can show you the map, please.
He's pleading with God.
And Linda's like, he can show you on the map.
We hang on to this moment of devastation for a while. People are gobsmacked. I was fucking gobsmacked when I saw this for the first. I couldn't fucking believe it. 6 seconds. Oh my God. If he just ate one less gnocchi. Linda comforts Gary. Laz discusses the rules with folks. Decisions are made. Finally, Gary hugs Laz and tries waddling back to camp. But before he can make it away, John Kelly stops him and embraces him. As they share words that are kept too quiet for the camera to hear, motherfucking Laz gets his assistant to do the most diabolical shit this side of the Mississippi border and has him play taps on the bugle. Gary removes his hat and as he's forced to stand there and just listen. Oh my God. I love Laz. I love him so much for that moment in particular. What a beautiful fucking moment.
It's so heartbreaking. Like, he did it basically. He ran all of that within the amount of time. If he didn't fuck up at the end, he would have been there with 10 minutes to spare, he said. Like, but the technicality, like he didn't, complete the rules. He didn't follow the rules exactly, and like, oh,
And so instead you get taps. Linda keeps him upright as they sulk away. Cut back to Vancouver. Gary and Linda make their feelings clear. It's not going to end like this. He will go back. He will finish. He will beat the Barkley. We get a pretty hack ending where moments from the movie are played in reverse back to the beginning until the credits roll and it's over. And that's where dreams go to die. Spoiler alert, Gary Robbins did go back and try a third time, failed on the third loop, and he will never go back and do it again.
I thought, didn't he do 2 more failed? Like, because that was the 2017 race, right?
I don't know.
Ran 2018, failed. Ran 2019, failed. 2020 was canceled because of the pandemic. And then in 2021, he took himself off the roster and said, I need to spend time with my kid. And he essentially declared that he's not going to attempt it anymore.
Anyway, that's where dreams go to die. What the fuck did... Final thoughts. You fucking... Just kidding. I'm just kidding. Kidding.
It's a good time. I liked it. I'd seen it before. I kind of forgot that this movie was what you suggested, and then when I pulled it up, I was like, "Oh, yeah." It's a comfort watch. I mean, I love athletic feats of achievement. I think they're fascinating. I think human endeavors to conquer nature or conquer ourselves or just make for fascinating biopics and stuff. I'm endlessly fascinated with physical human achievement, and this is just, one more good one to watch.
I really enjoyed it. I did not think I was going to. I hate running. I hate sports. I hate people trying to do sports. But
Wow.
something that I really enjoyed about this was it's amateur documentary aspects. It's cool to see somebody learning how to do things, growing in their skill, be able to eke out a good story. But then kind of the whole lesson of the Barkley, in the last race, it was 40 people that started and only 3 people or 2 people got toward to the last lap. And I think the thing is, a lot of people still enjoy it even if they didn't win, and it's like this goal that they're going to go after and get better at and see their incremental gains, and the lesson that the journey is greater than the destination, while at the same time Gary was so focused at the destination that even though he had this amazing journey, even though he basically achieved it, because he didn't meet the technicality, he was devastated and crushed by not achieving that destination. Which is why I love that duality of it's a cautionary tale and it's also incredibly motivating. I thought it was very cool, and sad to see that Gary didn't do it, but also Gary, you crushed it compared to so many of us. I could not even do a quarter of what you did.
Yeah, I damn, bro. It's like, Jesus Christ. Jesus, I couldn't even do the training. I couldn't even do a fraction of the training. You psychopath. Yeah, I think it's a compelling premise. It puts you as close to the action as you can be without strapping a GoPro to Gary. It does a lot with the limitations. It stumbles into a lot of great success. Also, what a fucking story, right? Holy shit. How lucky we are that this particular filmmaker was friends with this particular runner and was allowed to tag along on these 2 particular races.
Sorry, something that's also hilarious is both times that he doesn't achieve his goal, you see him talking to other people, and then when he notices the camera on him, he gets this sullen look over his face where he's like, I have to admit it to the camera. Fuck, I have to document this shit. Yeah, it's already challenging to do the Barkley on your own, but then to do that and also have someone filming the entire experience, documenting it, that's tough too.
This ratings out of 10?
I'll give it like a 6 out of 10. Just like as far as documentaries go, it's not like gonna blow my socks off. I mean, I think I'm predisposed to liking the subject matter as like a runner and someone who likes these kinds of things, but I don't think it's exceptional in anything in particular, but it is good. It's a good time and I'd recommend it.
I am going to go similarly a 5. I don't enjoy running. I don't enjoy sports or documentaries about that. But like, the story was interesting. This is a slice of life that I don't know about, and it's cool to understand it. And, you know, it's an amateur documentary, but like what they were able to do was cool.
Yeah, I'd give it an 8. I think it's unique and insane. So now it's time for the part of our show where we scour the high seas of the internet and find the craziest, most batshit, ludicrous reviews of the movie that we can find and share them with you and each other. I'll go first. This came from user Addy on Letterboxd Media, who gave it 3 stars, and they said, "I think I could do this."
That is unhinged. It is an unhinged statement.
Mitch, you want to go next?
Sure, mine's not super strong, as I found it immediately after starting recording. This is from Letterboxd user Rue. Gave it 2 stars. How it feels to get demolished at my Wednesday night Magic draft.
Same sort of training went into that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny.
Mine comes from Letterboxd to user Rachel E. B or Rachel YB. They rated this 3 stars and commented, "A man should never show his feet."
not for free.
Monetize that.
Well,
It's been a lovely pod.
yeah, thanks for joining us. Join us next week when we watch Lucas's documentary, which he has 2 listed on our fucking thing. So I don't know what
I
we're
don't
watching.
even know what they are. I don't even know what they were, because last time I looked, there wasn't anything in his slot
Well, one of
for
them's
that
Food
week.
Inc., and I want to veto that because I've seen it and it's horrifying.
It's not as bad as what's the one all about? The animals?
Food Inc. You're thinking of Food Inc.
Oh, hold on.
Blackfish.
I might have thought of the wrong food documentary. Hold on.
You just added another documentary to the fucking sheet.
I know.
dog.
I don't know what
You
I'm
need to
trying to do.
remove one. You're going the wrong direction.
Okay. Not Food Inc. We'll do Fed Up.
Fed up?
It is also about the food industry, but it's not Food Inc. style.
Is it fun? Is it gonna make me feel good?
No, it's not going
It's
to
not
make
gonna
me
make
feel
me
good.
feel good. God damn it!
But it's less about animal cruelty and more about the industry as a whole, which of course touches on animal cruelty, but like it's much larger than that.
All right,
Ding.
Okie dokie.
great. I'm so excited. Thanks for fucking joining us. Get home safe.
Much love.
Kisses.